All right, let's dive into one of the most powerful and honestly puzzling statements in all of philosophy. We're talking about a three-word sentence that claims to hold the key to understanding, well, everything, yourself and the entire universe. That's it. That's the sentence. Thou art that. In the original Sanskrit, it's Tat Tvam Asi. Now, for thousands of years, some of the greatest minds have wrestled with this phrase, trying to unpack its meaning. And you can see why, right? At first glance, it makes almost no sense.
I mean, think about that claim. This isn't just a nice little platitude. It's being presented as an absolute fundamental fact about reality, a mind-bending truth hidden inside a super simple phrase. So to get it, we're going to have to crack the code.
So this phrase, it's known as a Mahavakya, which literally means a great sentence. It comes from these ancient Indian texts called the Upanishads. And lucky for us, the brilliant philosopher Adi Shankaracharya took on the challenge of explaining it, piece by piece. His work is going to be our guide through all this. And the way Shankaracharya approaches this is just so logical and cool. He says, look, if we can get super precise about what thou means, and then get just as precise about what that means, then maybe we can see how they could possibly be the same thing. So let's start with the first piece of our puzzle, you. Okay, so what on earth does this ancient sentence mean when it says thou? To figure that out, the text asks us to do a little self-investigation, to start peeling back all the layers of who we think we are. Just think about it for a second. Your body is always changing, right? But the feeling of you stays pretty constant. Your emotions, happy, sad, angry, they come and go like clouds, but you're still there, watching them pass. Even your thoughts, that constant chatter in your head, you're aware of them. So who is the one doing the awareness? What's actually left when you strip all of that other stuff away? Well, what's left is what the text calls the witness. It's that silent background awareness, that pure, simple consciousness that experiences your entire life but never gets tangled up in it. That is the real, deep meaning of thou. It's not your name or your job or your personality, it's the fundamental light of awareness itself. Now, if that sounds a little abstract, the text gives us this really helpful analogy. It says the self, this witness consciousness, is like a lamp, and your body and your mind, they're like a clay jar that the lamp is lighting up. The light lets you see the jar, but the lamp, the light source itself, is totally separate from it. In this picture, thou is the lamp, it's the light. Okay, so we've got our definition for thou. It's that inner light, that pure consciousness witnessing our life. Check. Now let's tackle the second keyword in our cosmic sentence, that. That refers to something the Upanishads called Brahman. And just to be clear, this isn't a god with a beard sitting on a cloud. It's way bigger. It's the very fabric of reality itself. You could think of it as the source code of existence. The single ultimate principle that creates, sustains, and eventually dissolves the entire universe. So that is infinite. It's the cause of everything, it's all-knowing, and it exists beyond space and time. It's the universal, boundless ocean of consciousness. And here's the crucial point. We've now defined both our terms. Thou is the individual spark of consciousness, and that is the universal fire of consciousness. Okay, so now we can finally put the sentence back together with our new definitions. The individual witness consciousness is the universal source consciousness. And yeah, this is where we hit a pretty major philosophical speed bump. This is the big problem, right? It feels like a total contradiction in terms. How can my little personal bubble of awareness be the exact same thing as the infinite cosmic power that creates galaxies? On a literal level, it just doesn't compute. The conflict is pretty stark when you lay it out. On one side, you've got thou, the individual, which seems totally limited to one body, one mind. And on the other, you've got that, the universal self, which is infinite, absolute, all-powerful. I mean, on the surface, they look like complete opposites. So what gives? Well, clearly, thou art that can't be a simple equation like an apple is a fruit. Shankaracharya explains that whenever a direct, literal meaning leads you to a contradiction like this, it's a signal. It's forcing you to look for a deeper, indirect meaning. And this, right here, is the key that unlocks the entire puzzle. We have to learn to read this sentence not by looking at how thou and that are different, but by finding what is fundamentally, essentially the same about them. The special tool for this is called lakshana, or indirect meaning. And the method is actually pretty simple. You take two things that seem different, you mentally get rid of all the qualities that make them conflict, and then you see what essential thing they both share. So let's try it. Look at the table. The direct meaning of thou is that pure consciousness plus all the limitations of an individual mind. The direct meaning of that is pure consciousness plus the creative, world-making power, sometimes called Maya. See the conflicting parts? It's the individual mind on one side and the universal creative power on the other. So what happens if we just discard those conflicting attributes? Well, you're left with just one thing on both sides: pure consciousness. The sentence isn't saying your limited personality is the infinite universe. It's saying that the essential nature of you, that core awareness, is absolutely identical to the essential nature of the universe. The awareness in you is made of the very same stuff as the awareness in everything. And the source text just confirms this so beautifully. It says that once you grasp this indirect meaning, you realize an indivisible being consisting of bliss only. The fundamental reality of both you and the entire cosmos is one single, undivided, conscious existence, and its nature is bliss. So why does any of